The community of Blaine County would be unrecognizable to our senior population without the existence and valuable work of the Senior Connection. On its 50th anniversary, let's take a look back and honor the history of this magnificent organization. The year was 1971. Disney World opened in Florida, NASA's Apollo 14 mission rocketed to the moon, and Blaine County seniors began to gather for weekly lunches at the Catholic Church in Ketchum. It was a small beginning to what would one day become the Senior Connection. A county bus provided transportation to the weekly lunches from Cary, Bellevue, Haley, and Ketchum. The humble roots of the Senior Connection started there in the large room at Our Lady of the Snows Catholic Church. Joan Davies tells us the story of how it went from one weekly meal to two, inspired by a delicious trout.
I was in the kitchen preparing fillet of fish as a nice card group who was playing bridge in the room next door, and it was probably about 3:30 in the afternoon. And I guess that's about the time that people get a little bit hungry, and so they had stopped playing cards and came out to see what I was doing, and seemed very interested in these nice bubbly fish that were in butter and parsley. And so I asked them if they'd be interested in signing up for an additional meal, and by the time they left, everybody had signed up. So I said it was Essence of Fish really got the second meal started.
In 1974, Blaine County Senior Council was incorporated by a group of Valley residents who believed there was a need for a county-wide senior center. The next year, lunches had grown to an average of 45 people per meal. The growing membership signaled a need for more space, so the decision was made to move to the Kelly House on Main Street in Haley. The Kelly House, which still stands today, was home to the Senior Connection as well as other businesses in Haley. By 1977, the growing center needed more space, so they moved again to the old Miners Hall, assisted by a grant from the Administration on Aging. The old Miners Hall was formerly a mortuary and church built in 1905. The school district offered the seniors a $1 per year lease, and extensive remodeling was done to best fit the needs of this new center. Meals on Wheels rolled out as a valley-wide service, and congregate meals were held 5 days a week. As the 1980s approached, so did the need for a more permanent home for the seniors. Discussions with the city of Haley ensued, leading to the signing of a lease for the current location of the senior center in 1981. Tommy Farr and Barbara Dargetts began investigating the financing for these things called senior centers, according to Farr. It required being a 501c3 nonprofit. Application was made and awarded on August 31st, 1983. Financing of $300,000 followed to build the senior center. They broke ground in 1983 and began building the center as we know it. During these days, joy, connection, and good food became the hallmark of life at the Senior Connection, a legacy that continues to this day.
Hello, I'm Fern Stevenson. I've been coming to the center since about 1986. It was real friendly. And there wasn't a lot of people. It seemed like the average would be around 30 people that would come. You just made new friends. Dancing and clapping and singing and rejoicing in all that we have. I don't know, we just have our good times. Directors, they've all, worked hard. And they've just really been, I think, excellent. We were always taken care of. And we have, of course, the board that watched out for us. We're just family. It's so nice. The 90s? That's 25 years ago.
In 1991, Barbara Dargetts wrote a grant for an addition to the facility. Some of the work was donated and the expansion project was completed in 1992. Renovations were undertaken again in 1998. $100,000 was granted by the Idaho Department of Commerce to build a large addition on the north side of the building and to renovate the kitchen. When the additions were complete, the Senior Connection gained an exercise room and more space for congregate meals, a staple for the community. The services and programs of the Senior Connection are constantly evolving to meet the needs of seniors. In 2012, the Connection Club was created to meet the need for adult day and memory care for those living with Alzheimer's or other cognitive impairments and their families.
We came and started on a regular basis, and the first day I brought him, I cried and I felt so guilty for leaving him. Turns out he had a ball. He loved it. Usually he follows me everywhere, and when we drive up here, he jumps out of the car and runs into the building and see ya. So he's really likes coming here. So that's been a blessing, and it's a nice break for me.
And when the pandemic hit and our lives were all turned upside down, the Senior Connection jumped into action, expanding Meals on Wheels to keep seniors fed.
Our Meals on Wheels grew by 400%.
We were all kitchen staff.
Yes,
for
at one
3-4
point,
months.
At one point or another, we were all working in the kitchen.
When people get a meal delivered to them, like that's an event for the day. They look forward to that. They dress for that. They put lipstick on for that. You know, our proof of life check and the delivery of a nutritious meal and a friendly visit is really, really important. I've had people say to me, you know, Teresa, it's not about the meal. It's about that social connection.
To do big work, you need big support. This has been a focus since the inception of the Senior Connection, and creative events have served as fundraisers for years. The Festival of Trees started in 1998. This idea would become a major event for the Senior Connection, featuring beautifully decorated, donated trees up for auction, to raffles and silent auctions. The early events lasted 3 days and included a father-daughter dance, a sit-down dinner, and gala. The festival didn't even stop in 2020. 11 trees were placed at locations around the valley where people could view them and bid online or by phone, with the proceeds supporting the Meals on Wheels program. Cocktails for a Cause began in 2016 and is the anchor fundraiser for the center, providing 20% of its annual funding. The event was designed to create more awareness of our important work, raise money, and raise friends. The generous donations from Cocktails for a Cause and other events throughout the year ensure the center can keep vulnerable seniors safe and nourished at home, provide transportation services, home care, and on-site meals and programming. This event went virtual in 2020 in light of the pandemic, proving that the Senior Connection is constantly adapting to best serve the needs of the community. A certain favorite is the annual Fashions and Wine fundraiser. Each year, a local dress shop sponsors their clothing apparel, and the Senior Connection provides the models. It is always an entertaining fashion show. The models, the guests, volunteers, and staff enjoy a night of bonding as women. Some of the most impactful work done through the Senior Connection is found in its programs. These consistent services have changed the lives of countless seniors in the community. Services like Meals on Wheels, transportation, caregiving, information and resources. The needs of the senior community in Blaine County are always changing, and the Senior Connection is always thoughtfully evolving to meet those needs. On the horizon these days is a kitchen expansion and addressing the need for additional parking in close proximity to the building. One thing that remained constant over our long history is the people and the atmosphere. For 50 years, we've always managed to attract members, volunteers, and staff that embody the core values of the Senior Connection: kindness, compassion, responsibility, and respect.
I've been coming to the center since about 95. I was a volunteer. I worked here under Brenda and then Kim and Teresa. I wouldn't be able to do what they're doing right now, serving meals and everything like this because of my age. But I was here for hours and hours and hours every day. I was answering the phone and then setting the tables. The tables were very, very different. So that's about all I can tell you, except that it's a great place to come and to meet people, and even if we just have a meal together and then, so it's fun.
Looking back over the years, it is remarkable how far the Senior Connection has come in its growth and impact on the community.
I know one thing for sure, for as long as I've been affiliated with this, it has done nothing but grow. The management, the board, the staffing has continued to improve. And I think as far as the future goes, that this center is well enough organized that whatever the future brings, it will be handled appropriately. So I think that's a better way to project the future, in my opinion.
And as always, we are better together. The Senior Connection. For 50 years, so much more than lunch.